Think about the last application you read. Maybe you noticed the test scores first, the transcript, the teacher recommendations. You're trained to spot certain things: academic promise, leadership potential, the markers that tell you that this child will succeed. But here's a question: what if the way we've been taught to see potential is incomplete? Today's guest works in two places that really never overlap. She's an admissions professional at an international school in Lomé, Togo, which is in Africa, and she founded Touche, working with youths in juvenile detention centers. Same city, similar age kids, but when you move between those two worlds every week, something shifts in how you see every child. Today, we're talking with Sylvie Mensah about what changes you can't unsee what she's seen, and about some wisdom from Togolese culture that might challenge how American educators think about community, potential, and what we're seeing trying to build. This is Help 100 Schools. I'm Carl Bohm. Let's get started. Welcome to Help 100 Schools. As a professional in education dedicated to expanding enrollment, you're already a fundamental part of this movement. We are here together to amplify the positive ripple effect that comes from advancing education. We're committed to keeping listeners inspired with timely lessons, valuable stories, and insights from brilliant minds and dedicated hosts. Our mission is a collective effort. Together, let's make a difference in spirit. Sylvie Mensah, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you for having me here.
It's a pleasure and a special opportunity to have you here. So really, thank you for joining. And let's sort of give a snapshot of what you're doing and what your typical day looks like during the week.
Okay. As you know, I'm an admission officer at the British School of Lomé, a French-speaking country.
Mais oui.
And our school is an English main language school. So we have a lot of French, I may say multicultural background coming to our school. In addition to that, I'm also working with young people in conflict with the law in our juvenile center here in Togo. And I have to say, during the day, I might be present at the British School of Lomé, but my mind is kind of jumping into words. Yeah, that's me.
Very nice. Your mind, and I would assume your heart. There's a lot of heart in what you're doing. And for those who probably have not spent much time in a detention center, especially not one that, where you are, can you describe a little bit about what is it like?
Okay, the juvenile center is just like a prison or a correctional center where you have prisoners being under 18 years old, meaning from 14 years up to 17 years old. Sometimes I remember I have one child of 10 years old. That was a particular case, 10 years, 10, 12 years old, but most of them are 14 to 17 of age.
I
Yeah,
see.
and
And this
yeah,
particular detention
they
center,
are,
is it that the children have sort of, it's a wide variety of reasons why they're there typically, or are there?
yeah, you can have all kind of, yeah, you have people being there because they stole something, or you also have those who are there because of having, having rape cases or criminal cases. You have all type. Yeah, it's just that they are under 18 years old.
I see. Wow, that's amazing. The difference between a private school and as part of your day to day, and then moving to a prison where there's such a range of challenges and concerns from violence and safety to problematic behavior and patterns and things like that. Then you started La Touche. Can you give a little bit of background on what made you start La Touche and what you're doing with La Touche?
To be honest, when I was thinking of La Touche, it was okay. Officially, I started back in 2014, but the idea itself, I think, it was way before then. I remember when I was young, I used to say, I want to impact life of young people. That's all I knew then. I just want to impact life of children. How? I didn't know. And then when growing up, it happened that I have a project as an exchange alumni with the US Embassy. And that is supposed to happen in the adult prison. But for some reasons, it ended up in the juvenile prison because I already have some people referring to me for donation, for punctual donation, temporal for some action. So I was kind of I initiated the project then. So we end up having the donation in the juvenile prison. And after that, one of the leadership team approached me and they said, you just give us this training. It was basketry training then. And then he told me what they were experiencing, like how they have students coming there doing nothing for about 1 year. And when they are released, the challenge for rehabilitation or to go back to school was real. So from then, I had the idea to have a library in there because then there was no book, there was nothing. So I initiated the first library in the juvenile prison. That was in 2016 to 2017. Then, after that, they needed someone to coordinate. And from one thing to another, I think this is going far. I thought I needed a formal organization or a formal way of interacting with them. Remember, I had that passion. My background somehow, I ended being trained as accountant, but my way is like I'm pushed back to the children somehow. I ended up with British School first, and then from British School, I'm now presented the opportunity to deal with some special cases. So I think I just grabbed it and I just shared the idea with them, and then that's how the whole thing started. The
Very
school
nice.
program.
And what is it for the audience's understanding? What are you doing specifically with Latouche?
Okay, Latouche have two branches. We have the local area, out of prison activities, and then that one I have to say it started later during the COVID time. And so it first started with the juvenile prison, with the library, as I just said. And then we launched the school program there. Till now, Latouche is the only organization doing that in the juvenile prison in Togo. So we have the school program and literacy for, we have their children coming in detention already being student. And we also have those coming in the juvenile prison who don't even know how to write their own names. So for them, it's like an opportunity to learn something. So for them to be able to read their own names or to write it down, it was like, wow, that's something great for them. We currently have two groups. We have one when we start at the beginning of 2025, we have one group, the age of 15, And we have been asked by the Juvenile Center leadership that they want to add a second group, the group of 17 years old. So now we have two of them in literacy, and then we also have those who are students like all in our system. We call it troisième, being like grade 9 level in the US. So we have this different type. For the school program, I have three levels: the beginners, intermediates, and I don't want to say advanced, but those who are like secondary levels. Yeah, that's a bit how we organize the program.
Very nice. So it sounds like essentially you're providing actual education this,
Yeah,
to the juveniles
that's,
in the detention center. And
yeah,
then you're also sort of providing development support like you did with the library development.
yeah, yeah. Because now we
Wonderful.
have one library. We now have one library, the first one in the juvenile prison, and then the second one, the one we launched in the local area during the COVID time. Remember, our schools were closed, and then our students were not prepared. They just find themselves at home. Many of them didn't know then what to do. This it was a new thing, so yes. And then I got a new stock of books, a donation. So I just decided to have the community area. It all started in one room I have in my house. Now we have a place dedicated to the library and to others workshops we have on weekly basis. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, it's a great service that you're providing. Truly, it's an amazing contribution and commitment to service. What is it like going from admissions at a private school to the detention center?
I have to say, I'm working with a team. So when I started, I've been going there for every lessons, but now I have teachers.
There being the school or the detention center where there's the team.
Yeah, they are teachers like the one volunteering there. They
Okay,
are
at
the
the detention
volunteers.
center.
Yeah, a team of volunteers. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have different teachers: literacy, math, English, humanities. So when I'm at the office at the British School, they are there working, and today we have the digital, the platform that we can use to communicate. So, and when there's a need, I can ask for permission at British School because they are aware of what I'm doing. Actually, I have a student from British School volunteering with La Touche at the moment. So it's a great thing. So that's how I'm kind of navigating both with the team of volunteers and full time at the office as a admissions officer. I have to say it's
Understood.
not easy because two different words is not the same, two different view or challenges. Yeah, but the team is helping. The team of teachers are they are really happy. And on Saturdays, I'm myself at the leadership at the area community library area. I'm with the young people there for most of the Saturdays. That's what I do.
Okay, very good. And so that's the logistic, but what is the feeling? What is the difference of the feeling between the two locations? Because they're obviously very different in terms of how they feel.
I think it helped me understand why and how. How do they end? First of all, I have to understand how are they ending there? How it happened? I have to understand. Maybe because there were no opportunities or no parent to respond for them or to some of some of the children there, their parents just abandon them or they just refuse to take their responsibilities. When you have children at British school who don't sometimes understand the how how blessed they are. Let me put it that way. How they should consider what they have as an opportunity. It helped me understand or to value the opportunity those of British school have, what maybe others just lack, and they end up in the situation where they are at the moment. So I have to say that's how, yeah, mostly that's how I feel. And I think I also can understand, it's all about how you can relate or you can understand what they are experiencing, how what they are living, what they are passing through. So it's a bit how I'm saying it. And myself, my background being, I come from a recomposed family. My two parents were separated. So you have a lot of impact on me somehow. And somehow it also affects my education at some point. So, all this push me to my vocation or to that passion, the passion of helping the children who didn't have any opportunities, any chance. Maybe they don't even understand what you guys are talking about. you know, yeah, that's a bit how it is.
Interesting. So you're saying part of the reason you were compelled to do this is because you felt the challenges and maybe pain of being in a separated family. And so you can identify with that having happened to a lot of the juveniles, and it's part of your commitment to serve them.
Exactly. I think you
Very
got
nice.
it. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, you so, something else interesting I find about this episode is, your story's amazing, of course. We also really don't get an opportunity to speak to folks who are in a country that's so far away from the US and understand the school story there and how the different culture affects life and education. And so I thought that there might be an opportunity for us to explore that a little bit in terms of Togolese culture and beliefs and how you see education and community. Can you kind of give us a little information about how that kind of shakes out and how you internalize that?
Okay. In my area, we believe that a child belongs to the community or the community has some responsibility. It's like if my neighbor is seeing my daughter doing something wrong on the street, my neighbor has the responsibility to correct her or to come to me to say, "Oh, be careful. I'm seeing your daughter doing this and that. Please, can you advise her?" Or things like that. To a certain extent, the community feel responsible for everyone. That's how it is. Yeah. May I just relate to a recent story?
Sure,
A
please.
family member, a family member who got missing for some days, and it's like when I went to the neighborhoods asking, "Have you seen her? Have you seen her?" They say no, and then the next day, the whole community was coming to my place saying, "Oh, we just heard that this, no, she's not. What? How can we help? Have you done this? Have you tried this?" They were all offering a hand because we all feel responsible. That's how it is. It's like we are all responsible for the betterment of the community. I think that sense, that way of doing is still profound in our area, in our community. So that's why you have even the juvenile detention center. Some of the guardian or the soldier or those taking care of them there, some of them just they go way beyond the legal what they are supposed to do, because they feel like, after all, I'm a parent as well. So these are children. I have to do something for correction. I have to do something for to see the change in them. That's a bit how we see it here. Yeah. Yeah, I respond to your question.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Truly, that's very helpful, and I think very different. I think in a lot of American communities, we're quite isolated here, and I think that the family unit is somewhat isolated and guarded, as opposed to taking a community approach in how you describe. So that's very interesting, and the way that you're sort of working as a community towards the potential of the children and the betterment of the children and the community is unique and helpful. Are there any proverbs or sayings that guide your work?
Any proverb? We say the child belongs to the community. The
Belong to the
child
community.
belongs, yeah, the child belongs to the community. And the
Fair.
community, they know the limits. They know the limits of in everything, but they also know their responsibilities. They know they must do something. If there's in certain situation, we all have to do something. That's how it works.
That's quite
But
a cultural
the child
development.
belongs to the community. Yeah, that's what I can say. The child belongs to the community.
Very, very good. I love that. All right. Well, then you'd mentioned a story. I'm trying to. I know the Christmas is a big deal for you all, and that you all have sort of some unique cultural developments and traditions around it. And so I'd love to kind of share some of that with the audience. Can you give us a little snapshot of it?
Christmas for me, for Latouche, for the past 4 years, is just having the less privileged children in the area around the neighborhood, all coming together at my place or at Latouche, and we share a meal. We give them a gift, and then we create a festive environment for them, just like we do the fete at Latouche. And these are children who are, may I say, selected based on some criteria. And one of the criteria is like, I have most of them may not be able to afford the Christmas meal for the
Mhm.
for the children. So most of them, you will see them in certain condition, not knowing what to do that day. So I'm just kind of having them all in effect at Latouche. And I think for the past 4 years, it has been something great. Yeah, it has been amazing. And this year, particularly, we had about, I was planning to, I think, 25 children, but we have more than that. And what we did just last Thursday was Christmas. What I did was to split the gift, and so that everyone had something to go home with, and we were all happy. I think that it just make me feel happy. I'm happy doing that, and I feel fulfilled when doing that. And I think you should see the smile on those faces, on those little faces, to understand what I'm trying to explain. When you plan gift for about 20 children, and you end up with more than 30, and then you have to manage that, you don't want any of them to go back sad or empty-handed. You don't want them to go back with no food in their stomach, because maybe that food will be the one for the whole day, or the one they have for that day. Yeah, that's how I spend my Christmas since 2022. Yeah.
Amazing. And that you'd mentioned a story about a British school student who came for a short project and then
Oh,
stayed for something like a year. Can you share that?
yeah, that's Mahalia. And she's at the moment in the IB program. She's doing her IB program and
What does that stand for?
International Baccalaureate.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
She came to me when doing her IGCSE. She said, Madam Sylvia, I want to do my community service with your organization. My mom told me you have one organization working with the less privileged. Can I come and volunteer there? I say, yes, you can. Okay. She said, I want to do just 1 month, for my award, international award thing. I said, okay, that's fine. And she came for 1 month. And she thought she was coming for 1 month. And till last Saturday, she's still coming. More than a year now.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
great.
she's still coming. She's still coming.
So
And
she's a consistent volunteer now. Is that what she's
yeah,
doing?
I think the experience was just great for her. She saw there something she couldn't see at her place at the British School of Lomé. In her own words, she said, or her mother said, she needed to see another face of Lomé or another reality, if I have to translate from French what they said here. So she got the opportunity to see another reality, what happened be outside her her world, outside her house or outside British school. We say that British school is kind of for privileged, privileged families, or those who at least can, at a certain social level or financial level. So it was kind of contrast. When she was coming, she didn't know what to expect. She didn't know how it would be. But what happened there, I think it was exchange of values. I think she saw what she can receive from less privileged people other than money. She had money. Maybe her parents have money. Those of Latouche may not have money, but they have other things to give. They have, that joy, that smile, and that appreciation. Or also, they also have that discipline. Sometimes that, excuse me to say, sometimes the privileged student don't care about, they just disregard the discipline or the respect, you know. In my community, respecting someone or being grateful is still profound values. So when we were doing Martin Luther King celebration, one of the girls, or one of Latouche young people, told Mahalia, this Martin Luther King event is the product of what you taught us. And they all wanted to take a picture with her. They all were kind of, you know, getting off on her. They were able to bond together, and they were able to give each other something or receive something others didn't have. My people, or the one from Latouche, receive English or receive some knowledge from Mahalia, and Mahalia in return learn or had opportunity to see realities that she couldn't imagine in her own word. I think that's what happened there. Yeah,
Tremendous.
yeah.
That's
And
tremendous.
yeah, as I was saying, just last Saturday, she came back to volunteer again. Yeah, she's still there.
Very
I think
nice.
she's loving it.
Ah, that's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and how has working with incarcerated youth changed how you see potential in children at your international school?
Okay. Potentials, I think they all have potentials. whether being at the British School of Lomé or being at the Juvenile Center, they all have potential. Some of them are aware of it, some are not. Some of them just are not considering the same thing others are considering. So, when maybe some give more values to education, others maybe are giving values to means like money. Do I have the means to things like that? So when I welcome a family, one of the things I told them is you can plan this, you can do it. Why? Not because of today, but for 5 years, 10 years now. Maybe today you think this or that, you have your argument, you have your reason, but in 10 years, in 5 years, things will be different. Or your situation might be different based on what the decision you are taking today. Or maybe based on the plan your parent can make for you today. So sometimes I have some families coming to me saying, "Oh, we cannot afford your school fees. We we understand that you have all the opportunities. We know you have international diplomas or things you are offering, but how can we afford it?" And I end up having a plan or helping them get a plan. Maybe you have a land. You prefer to invest in the land or build something there instead of investing in education. So I advise them today to rather invest in their children education. I encourage them to plan their kids education. I encourage them to not give up, to not give up. I just encourage them and present them with a possible plan how they can do it to afford the situation. And I also tell them, I don't hide it. I told them how on a daily basis or weekly basis in touch with young people from the juvenile center, not because they are not intelligent or not because they are not smart, but just because some parent just give up on them or someone just choose to not move on or bet on them. That's all. That's all. Yeah,
Wow. Well, so it sounds like it's built a strong resilience in you. In
I think yeah, yeah. I
okay,
think yeah.
so you can you can see that in hardship and challenging situations, they still have the opportunity to improve themselves, and so that they themselves, their families, should stay committed to the education and development of the child, no matter what their situation is.
Sure, sure. And okay, another challenge. Let me share this point. Another challenge I'm facing, most of the families coming to British school are French speakers. We are in Togo, a French speaking country, and English is my third language actually. So they are first of them when they approach the British school, they are afraid, they are scared, the language barrier. How can I speak English? How, maybe they are already at the high school level, already at high school level, coming with little English. So their first worries is, can I make it? Can I do it? And you know what I told them? I just told them, if I was able to do it, you can do it. Because I didn't go to any English speaking school. Carl, you can see for yourself that my English is not that of a native English speaker. But today, I'm proud to say that I have enough to work in an English environment.
I would
So,
never have guessed that English is your third language. So I'm very impressed.
oh, okay. So I told them, if I'm able to end up here with and every day being learning new vocabularies, I think you can also do it. So I'm a kind of, it's like a living testimony for them. I'm like, wow, really? And sometimes the conversation just changed from coming to, the British school. They just want to hear my story. They just want to know, how did you do it? How did you learn English? How did I say, okay, you can do this, you can do that. This can help you. This can help you. The same thing I'm doing with recently. I got some student of University of Lomé at La Touche. They came after the Martin Luther King. They said, we saw your post on the US Embassy Facebook page, and we want to know how are you, which kind of strategy are you using with these kids, these children, to be able to, to have an event in English with English speaking people? I say, I have the help of Maralia, but I do this, I do that, I do that. So, it kind of helped them. And I have to say, British school, I've learned a lot from British school, and I'm giving a lot to the British families coming to British school as well. So is at some point, I think it becomes more than just a job. It becomes more than just a job. For me, is
How would
now
you
like,
describe it? What is it? What if it's more than a job? What is it?
you know, today I'm like telling the young people what you can do to be prepared for 5 years, 10 years now. That's what I think basically that's what I'm doing. Yeah, it's just giving them access to what sometimes they think is not affordable. They cannot afford, they cannot make it. Beside not just the financial means, but to give them confidence. Build, tell, tell them, or be a proof to them that yes, they can do it. Because sometimes they're just the fear to get into the school. That's their fear to get into an English school environment, or a school in foreign countries, in UK, in the US. How can I do it? How can I do it? I don't have the language. I don't know the cultures. How? That's I did it, so you can do it. So yeah, that's a bit how
Very nice.
I think my work is now. Yeah.
Excellent. And what would you say, what are you building towards?
What I want is to create a system, like have a system where everyone can have opportunities. I think the opportunities I came to, I presented to the young people in La Touche, in the Juvenile Center, can be implemented and can go a long way. With others organization, we just did an advocacy, a national advocacy for juvenile people, young people. So one of the things I was looking at, or I was looking for, is to have that going into as a system in the school, in the Togolese education. So why not? Latouche can be an experimental platform organization to look at a broader way to give access, a better opportunity, or a better education to everyone, for everyone. Yeah, I think that's my dream. Whether being from a rich family, whether you are coming from the less background, with a less privileged background, you can have, you can believe. Just give them a chance to believe in themselves. Just give them a chance to to tell them to say I'm enough. Just help them say it for themselves. I'm enough. I can do it. I have enough. I'm enough. And
Beautiful.
that I want it for everyone, for every child.
Beautiful. Wow. Well, I was just about to ask, what would you ask of the audience? And in a way, you answered it without me having to ask, and that wasn't planned. That's something. Okay. And there's this a wise person once said something to the effect of, a healthy civilization is one where old people will plant seeds and shade to create shade that they will never rest in. And that keeps coming to mind here, is that what you're suggesting and what you're building and what the picture you're painting, despite discussion of a detention center, juvenile detention center, and what implications that might have in someone's mind, is that of the seeds of quite a healthy civilization. And that's a really beautiful picture, and I really appreciate that. And I know that we've gone on a little longer than I had intended to keep you here, but I appreciate your time, and I want to you know give back to your organization. And so, where can people find you and learn more about you and your organization?
Okay, we have a website, La Touche. You can have it. We have our social media handles as well.
Is it latouche.com, or is it something
Uh,
else?
yeah, latouchefmtg.org.
Perfect. And we'll get
Uh,
that linked out in the show notes
yeah,
for everyone as well.
yeah. And you have it on Facebook as La Touche, on LinkedIn as La Touche as well, just La Touche on Facebook and LinkedIn. And from there, you can have my WhatsApp contact from Facebook page. You have my WhatsApp contact as well. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Is there
Um,
anything else you'd like to share or ask of the audience in the show?
I was telling these young people last Thursday that one thing or one word I have for you in 2026 is enough. Enough. Enough of the bad, and I am enough for the good, for the positive. So this year is around that word for me, enough. I have enough. I'm enough. You are enough. You have enough to make impact wherever you are, whether being in Africa, whether being in US, you can make an impact. How? You have the answer. You know better. You are enough. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you. What a way to complete the episode. Thank you so much, Sylvie. Thank you for being on the show. I'll look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Thank you.
We are grateful for your support of the Help 100 Schools movement. Thank you for listening and for showing up. Now, please help us multiply the impact by reviewing, sharing, commenting, and staying engaged with us and our mission to help 100 schools grow. The future of education is in your hands. To learn more about today's topics, how to be more involved, and how to access our free resources designed to aid in your own mission, go to help100schools.com.